All right, good morning, class. Today is Wednesday, April 1st. I'm hoping you're having a great day so far. Today we're going to be going over our third lesson of our distance learning, where we're really going to be talking about economies and world regions and world geography, really. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. If at this time you can go ahead and press pause and get out your study guide. Now that you've gotten out your study guide, I would like you to go straight to question 16, the last question we left off on in your study guide, where it's asking you to basically complete this table where it has different indicators listed on the left, things like fertility rate, literacy rates, infant mortality rates. And what you were supposed to have done on here was tell me whether you think those indicators were high or low in a country that has high GDP. Remember, GDP stands for gross domestic product, which is the total amount of goods and services a country is worth. Basically, the wealth of a country, a wealthy country, right? Then finally, on the right here, you were supposed to have written down the meaning of the indicator and why you chose or why you wrote down those indicators were either high or low in a wealthy country. So we gave you an example here with fertility rate. We said that they would be low because in a country with high GDP, women will have better access to medical care and equal treatment. Fertility rate is the number of babies each woman has, basically birth rates, right? So let's go and look at the next one, the one you should have done on your own, which was literacy rates. And what I wrote down here on mine was it would be high. And what literacy rates is the amount of people who can read or write. It would be high because education would be in a country with high would be good in a country with high GDP. And so that's something you should have written down in yours if you did not go and make the correction at this time. The next one you should have done was infant mortality rates, which would have been low. Infant mortality rates is the number of babies that die out of every 1,000 babies born. This would be low because in a country with high GDP, citizens would have access to good health care. The next one you should have done was unemployment rates. Unemployment stands for the amount of people who are out of a job or out of employment, right? And this would be low because in a country that is wealthy, everyone would be working, obviously, right? Everyone would be doing well economically and be working and having a job. The next one is life expectancy. That I put would be high, and life expectancy, just like it sounds, is basically the average amount of years a person is expected to live in a country. For example, in the United States, I believe it's around 82 to 88 years of age, and this is usually high in a country of high wealth because they have access to good doctors, and usually they live a very good life, a very high standard of living. So very good living conditions to the point where they are able to live for very long. HDI ranking is high, and basically what HDI stands for is Human Development Index. This is a ranking system used to measure how developed a country is, and usually in a country that is wealthy, it's going to be high. Now there's 3 different indicators we look at for HDI, and that's going to be literacy rates, life expectancy, and GDP per capita, which is per person. Right. Okay. The next one was teenage pregnancies. This is going to be low. This is how many teenagers get pregnant within a given year. This is low because teenagers in a developed country, in a country of wealth, are usually educated and know the consequences of having a baby at a young age. Also, they have access to good doctors, so there's ways to prevent teenage pregnancies from happening. Turn the page. Last one for the question 16 is gender equality, and this is going to be high. Gender equality is basically how equal the genders are treated amongst the male and females. A country with high HDI or high GDP per capita or GDP is typically going to have a high gender equality because the better the literacy rates across genders, the better for the entire development of the country. All right, go ahead and turn the page to question 17. Question 17 was asking for you to label each one of the different regions of the world here listed in this box, and then you were to have color coded them. And so I'm just going to go ahead and leave this here for you, and you can pause the video and check your answers. All right. Question 18 was for you to label the oceans. Question 19 was for you to label the eastern and western hemisphere. Remember, the trick I teach you guys for cardinal directions is never eat sour waffles or watermelon, whatever, soggy waffles. There's different acronyms or different ways to remember northeast, southwest, and we're always going clockwise, okay? And so this would be then if I drew the equator, which is the equator, this would be the northern hemisphere, and this would be the southern, obviously, right? Lastly, before I turn the page, I did want you guys to make sure that you label down here above, below the 60 degree latitude line, 60 degrees south latitude. So this line here down represents the Southern Ocean because it's in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so everything down here at below the 60 degree line south, 60 latitude south, is considered the Southern Ocean. Just go ahead and color that for you. This is the fifth ocean, even though I teach you there are four, depending on which part of the world you live in, they teach that there are different numbers. And so, for example, if you live in Europe, they teach that North America and South America are just one continent or region. They just call it America. So again, here they are. Question 20 is asking you for you to label each one of these countries on this map here. And just like I did before, I'm going to go ahead and just stop here and allow you to pause the video so that you can check your answers. Please make sure, parents, that you are checking your students' work and that their answers are up at the same quality as mine. Of course, we do make mistakes, and so got jumbled up with all these small countries here in the Middle East. All right, so that concludes the review for your study guide. What we're going to be doing next is going into your assignments and the expectation for today. And so today's going to be hopefully a fun lesson for y'all. And so let me show you what I mean. So if you go to Teams, you are going to see two scheduled assignments. As always, one independent practice, one exit ticket. The independent practice for today is going to be a link to a Quizlet activity. This Quizlet activity hopefully is fun for you, and basically what you're going to see in this Quizlet link is a folder titled Lesson 3 Distance Learning Practice. In that folder you're going to see the three different study sets: Continents and Oceans study set, 12 terms; World Regions, 13 terms; and Economic Indicators, 8 terms. And so basically what you're going to do is go into these three, study for 5 to 10 minutes each. You can either study using study sets, play games. You guys use this app before, and so you guys are familiar with how it works. Basically, I want you to spend time practicing using Quizlet before you take your exit ticket. Of course, when you are done, you're going to go back into your Teams and work on your exit ticket, which is going to be, again, a Microsoft Forms document, where it's going to be assessing your knowledge of the regions of the world, the continents of the world, the oceans of the world, and the indicators in different countries. For example, infant mortality, literacy rates, gender equality, GDP per capita. So I hope you guys understand the lesson. I hope you guys have a better understanding of economic indicators. I hope you have a better understanding of world geography. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck today. Have a great day.